Hello, my name's Kevin. I'm just trying something new here. I hope you can hear me over the. Well, looks like there's audio going through, so I'll try to keep it out of the red.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the podcast of the Load Seaters for Wednesday, the 30th of January 2021. I'm joined by Callum, and before we start, you can always go to loadseaters.com, check out the further information on the reporting that we're going to be doing here, and you, of course, get access to our premium content. This week, in fact, later on today, the book club about Locke's Second Treatise on Government will be going up. I personally feel that this is a very valuable thing for Americans to be paying attention to, and should definitely go and read that if you want to understand your own country a little bit better, the ethos behind it, because it is about the will that was important in the formation of the United States. But I explained it in the book club, so I'm not going to explain it here. Anyway, Callum, it's not going well in America, is it?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like, how bad is it now?
It's pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. I mean, like, both ends, the centre is collapsing in America. It's very clear that there's no narrative in the centre that can hold it together. The centre-left have just shifted right into full-on social justice territory. And
Who
look
do
at
you mean by the centre then? Like the neolibs? Or?
yeah, the sort of Pelosi, Biden, that sort of corporate neolib structure has just fully embraced the radical left-wing view of whiteness, blackness, and racial and gender politics. Right, so that there is now nothing that we, I guess, could describe as the normal view of racial and gender politics as before, the sort of individualistic view that conservatives hold. That doesn't exist anymore. You've got full-on radical leftism coming out of Biden's agenda. I mean, this is a clip of Biden just announcing what his agenda is going to be.
Our focus will be on small businesses on Main Street that aren't wealthy and well-connected, that are facing real economic hardships through no fault of their own. Our priority will be Black, Latino, Asian, and Native American-owned small businesses, women-owned businesses, and finally having equal access to the resources needed to reopen and rebuild.
Why?
Jesus Christ. Well, the first part of that sentence was fine.
Yeah.
Second part.
I mean, well,
crazy.
hang on. The first part, don't lie to me, Joe. Right? Taking money from Ukraine, China, Wall Street.
Yeah.
You're not interested in helping small businesses. But then to have to racialize it and gender it, to essentially be like, look, Black, Latino, Asian, Native American. I mean, is there any group that's being left out here, Joe? Oh, that's right. White small business owners. Yeah, go away. That's essentially what I took away from that.
76% of the country or something like that?
How about
It's
the
50% of the
disabled?
country was small businesses
How
before
about the
COVID lockdowns
disabled?
going to be down.
I don't know, it's really being excluded.
Yeah, something like 70%
I know,
of the
right?
United States is white European. Yeah, and he just doesn't seem to care. I mean, he does also say, oh, we'll help the mom and pop stores in rural America, and it's like, no one believes that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second.
Well, only certain kinds.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which in rural America is largely white. And he says, the restaurants that have been slammed by the virus. It's like, the virus has done nothing to restaurants. The lockdowns have done everything to restaurants. So don't skip that necessary step where you guys had decided to close these things down. So again, it wasn't Republican areas that were shutting down. It was Democrat areas. Essentially holding their own states to ransom over this, to be honest. But anyway, so you can see the kind of racial and intersectional agenda that is just coming out of the
I adjusted the volume.
In their tweet.
Hope that
Our
works.
priority will be they clip the bit where it says, look, we're giving priority to essentially the non-whites. And of course women, because women are a victim class.
So it's a very important point. It isn't the Republicans that have clipped that to be like, look at this nonsense.
Yeah, no, they
It's the
clip that
Democrats
themselves.
saying, this is us looking good.
Yeah,
Like, are
exactly.
you kidding me?
Exactly. So it's just going to be full-on racial politics from Biden, which is nothing new, but anyway. And then we get to find out, and he announced yesterday, that Biden had appointed a woman called Kirsten Clark to run the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. And this woman is kind of like Tariq Nasheed, right? I bet she follows him on Twitter. I bet she watches a lot of his content. She is what I would describe as a black supremacist. And honestly, Erin Tucker Carlson, just read out her statements was gold for me, right? And so we've got about, it's about 2 minutes long, but it's totally worth your time listening to Tucker Carlson explain her worldview. Let's go.
Quote, please use the following theories and observations to assist you in your search for truth regarding the genetic differences between blacks and whites. End quotes. You know it's going to be interesting, and it was. Quote, 1. Dr. Richard King reveals that the core of the human brain is the locus coeruleus, which is a structure that is black because it contains large amounts of neuromelanin, which is essential for its operation. 2. Black infants sit, crawl, and walk sooner than whites. 3. Carol Barnes notes that human mental processes are controlled by melanin, that same chemical which gives blacks their superior physical and mental ability. 4. Some scientists have revealed that most whites are unable to produce melanin because their pineal glands are often calcified or non-functioning. Pineal calcification rates with Africans are 5 to 15%, Asians 15 to 25%, and Europeans 60 to 80%. This is the chemical basis for the cultural differences between blacks and whites. And 5. Melanin endows blacks with greater mental, physical, and spiritual ability, something which cannot be measured based on universal standards. End quote.
Melanin accounts for the cultural differences between blacks and whites.
Oh no, the calcification of the pineal gland.
Yeah, and the reason that's important is because it's a production.
No, apparently.
That's her opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the opinion of science. Josh is big on these subjects, not quite in the way that she is. I mean,
He's not like
science.
measuring dimples in the skulls. Or
No,
anything.
he's big on science, not this crazy racial supremacy. And he's currently working on an article to refute all of this very concisely. But it's not just her that says this sort of stuff. This kind of black supremacy is all over the internet. I've seen loads of it in my time, and it's rounding on to being we was count. So that will be up on lotusseekers.com probably by the time the podcast is finished. In fact. So if you would like to be able to refute these things with facts and logic, then Josh will have done the job. But the point is, this woman is an insane racial supremacist. I mean, if anyone's sat there trying to establish the genetic differences in culture between blacks and whites, and then with the purpose of suggesting that blacks are, what was it, physically, mentally, and spiritually superior in a way that Europeans can't even measure, this is disgusting.
Because the physically and mentally, I think it's like the Nazi position, which is that the Aryan race is superior. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the spiritually one was actually the Japanese supremacy.
Oh, was
So,
it?
like, they didn't claim to be physically superior, but they were spiritually superior to the rest of the world.
Okay. Well, apparently this person disagrees.
No,
Nice.
Well, they agree that it's a thing based on race.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No.
master race. That's
Yes, that's unironically. But again, Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. A very influential department, part of the Justice Department. Very important in American politics.
well, that's
And
they're going to be the ones dealing with Black Lives Matter and cases like that.
constantly. And this is this is what the Americans apparently overwhelmingly, unprecedentedly voted for. They were like, we don't have enough racial supremacy in government. Give me Joe Biden. Donald Trump thinks all lives matter.
Everything melanated superior lives matter. That's her opinion.
And the thing is as well, right? She also seems to be something of an acolyte of Louis Farrakhan. What he was quoting there was just a letter she'd written to the Harvard Crimson, their magazine, about race. And while she was a student there, she had invited, I can't remember the name of the chap, but there was another professor who had written a book called The Jewish Assault on Black People or something, or Blacks. And yeah, it was full on Louis Farrakhan stuff that the Jews are puppeteering the whites in order to hurt the blacks and stuff like this. And it's like, holy crap, okay. These people are off the rails as far as I'm concerned. This is unacceptable for, we're probably going to get in trouble on YouTube for this. This is, you can't have these kind of videos on YouTube now. And yet now it's in Biden's government. So it's like, okay, great. Okay.
Like, are they going to ban her off Twitter?
No, I guess not. I think she's in the right place with the right time. But anyway, so then let's just have a quick catch up. So this is how the left is radicalized, right? You can see the radical elements of the left coming straight to the fore, taking office.
When you're arguing in the government that melanin predicts if you're superior or not.
That's right.
Is that not radical?
Tariq Nasheed is in the government now.
Oh, man.
And the thing is, Tariq Nasheed's actually better than this woman. I mean, Tariq Nasheed's actually not that bad
No.
compared to this. Like,
I think he thinks that they're spiritually superior, not physically and mentally.
Well, I mean,
Like, she's
I
gone further than him.
yeah. Maybe we'll get him on and find out how he feels about that.
I'm sure he'll be in line administration soon, so don't worry.
But anyway, so let's get to Pelosi's impeachment. And we were told, sorry, go to the next one. So we were told that Pelosi has announced Trump's impeachment managers. 7 out of 9 are women, people of color, or LGBT. So it's a very intersectional and progressive impeachment squad. One of them is Eric Sauer, who he's the guy who had an affair with a Chinese spy, communist spy, and he's one of the impeachment managers because the Democrats just don't care. They just don't give a shit about your opinion on this. They're okay with China. They're okay signing up to China. When people are calling Beijing Biden, that's perfectly fair. He took 2 stacks. You know, he's 10% for the big guy. He takes this money. These people sleep with the Chinese spies. They don't care. They appoint them to be the managers of the impeachment of the American president. They don't care.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now. We'll
Yeah, he's
see how
literally
this
sleeping with a
works
Chinese
out.
spy. They will have nudes of him